Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Chairperson, I wish to congratulate you on assuming the chairmanship of the Commission on the Status of Women. We hope that this will prove to be a successful session and assure you of Pakistan's unwavering commitment to support and cooperate with the Commission towards advancing female empowerment and gender equality. Mr. Chairperson, during the past year, the COVID-19 pandemic has served to highlight the significant and essential role of women across the globe in shaping a more equitable future. Through their exemplary contributions at the front lines as healthcare workers, caregivers, innovators, and community organizers. However, the pandemic has also highlighted the disproportionate burdens that women have confronted, particularly during public health and economic emergencies. Women across the world have faced an alarming increase in instances of domestic violence, unemployment, and poverty. This crisis has created an important opportunity to take stock of the progress made globally in advancing the protection and promotion of the rights of women, and also to reflect on the challenges that continue to stand in the way of women's rights and equal participation in decision-making in all facets of public life. We believe that the Sustainable Development Agenda, with its 17 goals, particularly Goal 5, has the potential to transform the lives of women by ensuring gender equality and empowerment of women. Mr. Chairperson, the protection and promotion of the rights of women is one of the key pillars of Pakistan's development paradigm. In accordance with Islamic injunctions, the Constitution of Pakistan guarantees fundamental rights to both men and women. It provides ample guarantees to women against all forms of discrimination, exploitation, and marginalization, and it ensures equal rights and opportunities to grow and lead a healthy and prosperous life. Pakistan has also adopted a number of key international commitments to gender equality and women's human rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Beijing Platform for Action, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women, and the Sustainable Development Goals. Mr. Chairperson, through a wide range of legal policy and administrative measures, Pakistan continues to make vigorous efforts to promote the political, economic, and social empowerment of women. The number of women at key leadership and decision-making positions has risen steadily. Our women have also begun occupying key positions in the armed forces and have served and continue to serve in UN peacekeeping operations. The government of Pakistan has also taken concrete steps towards strengthening legislation related to address issues such as violence against women, domestic abuse, harassment, social protection, and economic participation and inheritance. The Protection of Women's Property Rights Act 2020, the Letters of Administration and Succession Certificates Act 2020, and the Anti-Rape Investigation and Trial Ordinance 2020 are significant recent steps that have been taken in this regard. Other laws in place to protect and promote women's rights includes the Protection Against Harassment of Women at the Workplace Act 2010 and the criminal law amendments related to anti-women practices, asset crimes, and offences in the name or pretext of honor. Pakistan has adopted a national policy for development and empowerment of women as well as a national action plan on human rights. At the provincial levels, commitments adopted include gender equality policy frameworks and women's empowerment packages and initiatives. The protection of women is one of the key priority areas of our National Action Plan on Human Rights. Women protection centers have been established all over the country to address grievances. A national helpline 1099 also provides free legal advice and a robust redressal and referral mechanism. Mr. Chairperson, Pakistan has also been working towards strengthening and establishing its institutional frameworks to protect the rights of women. These include the Women's Parliamentary Caucus, human rights cells in our courts, women police stations, national and provincial commissions on the status of women, provincial women development departments and directorates, as well as a women bank. The Gender Crime Center under the National Police Bureau of the Ministry of Interior gathers, collates and analyzes data on violence against women in various forms. Having this central repository of data on cases of violence against women assists our policy makers to develop comprehensive and effective measures to control such violence. The ESAS program is our flagship social protection program designed to provide social assistance, especially to women, and improve financial inclusion and empowerment of women. It also includes a special incentive package for families sending their girl child to schools. In order to encourage women's employment, the government has announced a minimum 10% quota for women in public sector employment. To facilitate working women, hostels, daycares and transport facilities are being provided at public and private offices. Mr. Chairperson, I think it is pertinent to mention here that the global community has a responsibility and duty to acknowledge the pleas of women and children suffering devastating human rights violations and consequences in situations of conflict and illegal occupation. India has exploited the pandemic to accelerate the pace of its colonization project in illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and to consolidate its illegal and unilateral actions of 5th August 2019. Using draconian laws, Indian forces have intensified systematic use of summary executions, torture, pellet guns and rape as a weapon. The mass rape of Kashmiri women in the villages of Kunan and Pushpora in 1991 is just one example of the dire need to extend protection to women and girls living in conflict zones or in occupied territories. Indian government's attempts to begin what is effectively a massacre and genocide of the Kashmiri people, including women and children, needs to be stopped now by the international community. We are also concerned in Pakistan over the rising tide of Islamophobia, where Muslim women are being denied their basic right to choose how they dress. Mr. Chairperson, Pakistan firmly believes that economic growth, sustainable development, peace and prosperity must be built upon a foundation of female empowerment and gender equality. We remain committed to creating an enabling and safe environment for women so that they can shatter the glass ceilings and obstacles that have conventionally hindered and restricted their equal participation in decision making and public life. But let us be clear, when we talk of gender empowerment and women's rights, we must refer to women's rights and gender empowerment across the globe and not use rising tides of prejudice and Islamophobia and illegal occupation to deny our women their basic human rights.